Have you ever found yourself short on cash before payday? What if you could withdraw the cash you've already earned when you need it? That's what earned wage access can do for you. And we believe you have a right to it. Instead of dealing with a bank, documents and credit scores, Volanti pays you directly and your employer pays us back. Banks deny you this right. We can cut them out. And the best thing, you can choose to receive your salary in your local currency or a stablecoin like USDT, giving you flexibility.
Ladies and gents, welcome. Today we talk about earned wage access. That's what my company, our glorious venture, is doing. Earned wage access. What does that mean? You get paid every day. I know, shocking, right? Not exactly complicated. But you'd be surprised, we haven't been doing this for almost a century. Around the Henry IV time, that was normal. You get your money every day. And why wouldn't you? It makes sense, right? If you get paid every day, herpity-derp, you can use your money. You don't suffer from things like inflation. You get interest for anything you hold. But when you don't get your money every day, you lose freedom, essentially. The company, the corporation that you work for does, or rather makes the decision for you. They're like, okay, you have to save up your money for a month, whether you want it or not, and we'll pay you later. Day 1 you worked, no money. Day 2 you worked, no money. Day 24, no money. And all this time, your money loses worth, loses purchasing power. Anything that comes up, any issue, you have to pay with other money. If you don't have any savings, you're screwed. You got to take out a loan. It doesn't make sense, and it's not fair. And in the meantime, the company can use that money that now belongs to you because you worked for it, and you had an agreement with them, right? And can use that money for whatever they want. They get paid for holding it, and you're not. And you're supposed to. And that's what we do at Volanti. Now, why is this the case right now? Why hasn't this changed in such a long time? Simple reason. Around the time of Henry IV, we had more and more factory workers line up to get their salary. And essentially, everyone would gather around the table, right? And they would put all the stacks of money. There'd be a dude and a long or a woman and a long line of workers, and everyone would get their salary one by one. Takes forever. You literally have to hire people to do the payout every day. So they're like, okay guys, this doesn't scale well at all. We can't do this anymore. Let's just do it once a month. And don't forget, there's also paperwork involved, like invoices and paper slips for everyone that got paid. And then you had, not everyone gets the same salary as well. There's overtime. Some people earn more because they're foremen, right? So it got rather complicated, impractical. But that was before we had machines. That's no longer the case. Now at Volanti, we use blockchain and AI to facilitate this, to make it fast, cheap, pragmatic. And by pragmatic, I mean it works really fast. It's easy to use for the user, but it's also easy to scale. It doesn't cost us a lot of compute and servers. We don't have to pay a lot for transaction fees. We can be completely compliant with jurisdictions all over the world without much effort, without needing a billion lawyers and accountants. And as I say, it's cheap, it's fast, it's safe, reliable, legal, everything you want in the financial space. And in the financial space, things are very strict. Depends on some countries are a bit more easier to handle, but generally speaking, very strict. You can't mess up. The IRS being one of the most infamous organizations of, you better pay your bills or we come in for you, right? Now, the private individual who isn't exactly all that taught on it can't exactly do much against it. Inheritance tax, income tax, a billion taxes, you have to pay them no matter what, and it's just tough. Meanwhile, people who try to maintain their wealth once they reach a certain level, they use holding companies, they use trust funds and all kinds of mechanisms to legally not pay tax and to benefit from systems. And one of the many systems that has joined this arsenal of the working class essentially, right, is salaries now. Because ever since the advent of machines, it has been easy. We could have easily just paid everyone again, every day. No problem. A spreadsheet will do it. Excel, Microsoft Excel, anything works. A template for the invoice, put in the name, time, payment, tax, done. Everyone has a tax number. It's not that easy. Actually, it's not that easy to mess it up. It's not that hard to do, really. All you have to do is have a simple workflow, boom, once a day. Maybe you need one accountant to double check everything once in a while. If it's a large company, it's really not that hard. And everyone would have their money immediately, right? Now, why didn't they do it? Well, because they got used to it and it's beneficial in their mind. It's beneficial for the corporation. It's easier to do what's already working. Why change it, right? That's kind of in their mind. Banks and corporations like the cash flow, like to hold money. And if you remember, banks, for example, and it's similar to corporations, it's not like they're worth, say, like $10 million, meaning they have $10 million in their accounts. Of course not. They have machines, they have factories, they have a little bit of cash in their accounts, a little bit, like a scribble, right? Let's take like a pie chart, like a little bit, they have like maybe this much in their account, right? And the whole rest is machines, factories, and even loans and all kinds of other things that are part of what makes them valuable or of their contracts or anything, right? Even a loan can be an asset, ironically. This gets complicated. But bottom line is they don't really have cash, right? Don't really have cash. And banks are similar. So why would you not try to hold on to whatever cash you have, right? Problem is it's not that profitable. The problems I mentioned before, inflation, issues with interest for employees, that times hundreds of millions. Think about just the interest. Let's say you have a $3,000 a month. Let's choose that number because it's easy to calculate. That means $100 a day, right? So after a day of work, you're supposed to get $100, except they're not paying you, right? So what happens here is, let's check our little playlist here. What happens here is, if you're not being paid that day, the company holds us that $100, right? And let's say you get interest, like a few percent on it, because your company isn't just going to have that money in a bank account, it's going to use that money for stuff, right? To facilitate trade, maybe in some companies, investment firms, venture capital, whatever, they even literally invest money, right? Say you work as an accountant for a venture capital firm, right? You're just the accountant or secretary, or even the janitor, right? But now that venture capital company is not going to pay you, but rather holds on to that money to use it for investment. So that means they get some 10% of that per year, right? And if you really do the math on that kind of stuff, let's say you have, $150,000, okay? And from that $150,000, let's say we have a very good, decent, stable investment venture capital firm. They get 10% per year. Let's say inflation takes 5% of it, whatever, right? That leads to a monthly payment of about 500, right? So let's take a third of that, 2/3 of that. I'm gonna cheat a little bit and make math on myself super easy. Let's just pretend it's 200. I know it's not exactly right, but I want to keep math simple for 100K. So let's delete 3 digits, right? So that would make that 0.2. So 20 cents every day. 20 cents every day. Doesn't sound like that much, but think about it. 20 cents for the first 100 on day one, right? So day one, the company now gets 20 cents for free. That's supposed to be your money, the janitor's money, okay? Now day two, the company gets those 20 cents plus, because now we're on 200, right? Another 20 cents. And then compound interest, right? Because technically, they can also use those 40 cents to also invest, right? So on top of those 20 cents, right, they'd get like 0.00001. We're in the commas here. Something, I don't want to do the math right now, but extra on that. So basically, they start getting more and more money, actually 40 cents and a tiny bit more for the compound interest. But to keep it simple, day two, they're getting 40 cents. Day 3, they're getting 60 cents, 80 cents, and so on, right? So over the course of a month, right? Over the course after 30 days, right? We have 30 days times those 20 cents, right? So times 10 is $2, times 3 would be $6. $6 for free, right? So let's make that a bit bigger. A simple $6, right? 30 times 20 cents. That's $6 just in the first month. That's capital the company can now use to further facilitate trade and invest. Now, $6 might not sound that much, but would you rather earn $3,000 or $3,006? And I'll take that times hundreds of millions of people. Sure, salaries on average might be a lot lower. In some countries, it can go as low as a few $100. In some places, you get $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 a month. And in a lot of places in Europe, you get around $2,000-ish. But bottom line is, dollars upon dollars everywhere, not in the hands of workers where they're supposed to be. And that, of course, is just unfair, right? It's just exploitive because it was not the company's money anymore. You don't go to the grocery store, pays for stuff, right? And then don't pay, you don't go to the grocery store, buy stuff, and then don't pay for it, but come back a month later. It's nonsense. Especially imagine what would happen if everyone did that. The grocery store is just not going to be able to stay open. Restaurant too. They can't just pay everyone's lunch for the whole month and then catch up on it. It makes no sense. And that was just the interest. Now don't forget, we also have this here. Remember? The inflation. Now, because you aren't able to do anything with that money that you're supposed to earn, right? You're not just missing out on the interest. You get your money a month late. Now, by that month, that money is already worth a little bit less money than it was worth before. On day one, it would have been worth 100%, but on day 30, it's worth a tiny bit less because of inflation, right? So not only do you not get interest, you also suffer from inflation. Now, let's assuming nothing happens in that month and you have savings but if you don't, and that's normal for a third of people in Tokyo, for example, right? Now, let's say something happens. It can be as simple as your mountain bike breaks down, that you need to go to work. Sure, you can work all day or walk all day, sorry. Let's say you need a medical bill. Let's say you need to buy something, some accident happened, some insurance thing didn't pay out, and you just have an unexpected bill of some sort. $1,000, but you have no savings. You already worked 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever weeks, right? You worked, but it's not yet the end of your pay cycle. Let's say you worked 3 weeks. It's not the end of the month. You're supposed to have 3 weeks worth of salary, right? 3/4 of 3,000, something 2,000, whatever, but you're not getting it. Now you have to take out a loan because you miss out on interest, you suffer from inflation, and now you have to pay that as well. Now here comes the real kicker, right? The real kicker of this all is that it's actually more profitable for employers as well to pay their employees. That's the kicker. And there's so many reasons for that, but I'll keep it short. Employee churn, employee satisfaction, and employee productivity all improve when you just pay your workers every day. Remember the psychological effect that casinos and arcades and all kinds of games use when they want you to not pay with real money, but you buy in-game currency, you buy token, you buy some kind of chip to play or to do something in the game, in the casino, whatever. Because you're not looking at that much anymore. Think about credit cards. When you use a credit card, you don't really feel it as much as when you use cash. There's so many psychological things that happen here in the background, but bottom line is, when you pay your employees every month, it is more profitable. And nowadays, it's fairly easy to do for you. Don't just take it from Volanti. We released a super extensive research report on that, and we got this and that to offer, sure. But if you have an attractive earned wage access solution available for your employees, no matter who the provider is, I can highly recommend to try it out. And so long as they have a decent system, you will see an increase in revenue. Now, if you're a medium-sized company up, that's the way to go. If you're a very small company, even a coffee shop, you can really go back to manual and just pay people once a day, or at least once a week. Now, I know Americans, a lot of you are used to getting paid once a week, but that's not the norm for the world. Pretty much everywhere else, people get paid once a month, and that's if they get paid on time. It's not that rare for people to get paid late, like after 5, 6, 7 weeks, because there was some delay. More interest they lose out on, more inflation, more dependence on, I hope nothing happens because they don't have much savings, more screw your freedom and your decision. I'm going to decide that you have to save up your money. It's my decision, not yours. Unfair, right? And that's just the bottom, that's just the surface of the whole problem with salaries nowadays. Pardon me. Now, if you're a freelancer, a gig worker, you do something and you get paid after that. Like let's say you're a photographer for a wedding, and I say, yeah, do the photos for the wedding. And then after the wedding, you get paid a day later, 2 days later, fair enough. You're sort of there. You sort of get paid right after the delivery of the work, and it's kind of earned wage access in that case. This is for payroll. This is for all the workers and employees in so many jobs. It doesn't apply to 100% of every engagement between I do something, I get paid for it. But pretty much every work that you can imagine from a 9-to-5 basis that isn't some freelance gig or pay on delivery kind of thing is a salary that's delayed by a month at least. And that's a major issue. Now, I got a little bit of support on this video this time around, and I'd like to show you something neat. So if you're in the blockchain space like me, right? And you travel for events like Token 2049, WebX, or TeamZ, then you're probably gonna come across a little issue with countries. See, when you travel to America, which I recently did for CPAC, for Save the Newborns, for Champions of America, many events around Florida, for example, right? You run into this issue. Now let me present, I'm in Tokyo right now, so let me switch to America for a second. So I'm gonna open my Surfshark here. All right, skip clean web, let's not use so many extra features, but let's keep it simple. Let's go for the States here, United States. So let's say I travel to America for an event. But of course, I handle my finances in some capacity with crypto, right? Let's say I have to make a transaction on let's take Binance, right? On my Binance account. Now, if I want to go on Binance.com, right? This is what I get. See, service suspended, according to our terms of use, unable to provide service in restricted country. Because my IP is now in America, it doesn't work anymore. I will have issues. I can only withdraw money and run into issues. Now, the second I turn this off, and I'm back in Tokyo, right? Disconnect, we're back to Tokyo. This is gonna disappear because in Tokyo, Binance.com is not restricted and I can use it perfectly fine. So if I go to America, I can use Surfshark, set my location to not America, be Japan or some other place where Binance.com is allowed, and it works. Now, let's take you probably heard the example with Netflix where you see different shows depending on where you are. That's also really neat. But let me show you another use case that I haven't seen that much. Let's say you like to read mangas. Mangas are very restricted in Japan, similar to how crypto is restricted in America. Now, let's say we want to read some, right? And I'm in Tokyo right now. Surfshark is off. So Tokyo, right? I see this. At present, we will not provide services to your area for the time being. Okay, bonkers, right? I can refresh the page as well. It doesn't change anything. It doesn't work, right? So what do I do? Well, I go to Surfshark and I select the states. States restricted for crypto, not restricted for manga, right? So I switch to the states this time. And now, if I go to manga Fox, boom, I can read. Let me log in here real quick. Do we have the correct password? No, my bad. Let me fix that real quick. All right, let's see. I think the password was password. Should be this. There we go. Okay, and now we're on the manga side. Let's open a random manga just to drive home the point. I should have probably saved the password. Yeah, whatever. All right, can I still do that? Too late. Okay. So anyways, boom, now I can read this. See? The Holy Kingdom, yada yada. Translated mangas. Actually, not even a manga, a manhwa, a Korean one. But Japan is like, not here, right? Now let me turn Surfshark off again. Disconnect. We're back to Japan, right? Now see what happens when I try to open anything on the site. Let's go to the chapter before, right? Boom, I'm restricted again. Ironic. Now, Bitcoin will work when I'm in Japan, but if I want to read mangas, I have to go to America. Now, if I'm in America, I don't need a VPN, but if I want to use Binance.com, see? So in both cases, no matter where I am, I kind of need a VPN for something. Sometimes it's reading mangas, sometimes it's accessing finances, and there's more examples. There's Netflix shows that just don't show up. There is even a Netflix show where I'm in it. Let's see if I have Netflix open here. Netflix.com. I think my subscription actually expired. Yeah, it expired for my sense. So I'm in Tokyo right now. So I get these suggestions here trending. You can actually see them even if you're not logged in, right? This is the suggestions for Tokyo, and one of the ones where I'm even in that show is called Followers. That one will only display if you're in Japan. But I haven't gotten the time for Netflix lately, so take my word on it. Now let's switch to, say, the States. Screw it, let's take Albania. Why not? Let's look at the Albanian Netflix. Now I'm going to refresh that site, Netflix. And let's see if that link changes at the top. And now it says AL at the top. See, Albania. Now look what's trending. Not the same shows anymore. We got You on place 1, Adolescence on place 2, and Black Mirror on 4. Let's go back to Tokyo. By that I mean disconnect, since I am in Tokyo right now. And refresh that page again. Now netflix.com/L switches back to Japan. And now we have Tokyo Swindlers on number 3 and Conan on number 2. So you get different shows. Some shows you don't even have access to at all if the VPN is there. So here's an example. If I want to watch Followers in Japan, no problem. I make my Netflix account, I can watch it easy. But if I travel to the States, now I can no longer watch it. It will not be displayed. It will not be available. No matter how much I look, it will not show up on Netflix. I have to use the VPN. Similar to the example of manga and Binance.com, your location restricts what you have access to. You get different recommendations as well. So think about it. How many times do you really consciously choose what you watch, what you see, what you hear on the internet? Almost never. Pretty much all the time. You go by recommendations, by thumbnails, by some kind of previews, texts, suggestions, and search results. Depending on your location, all of those change. Not just the language. Even if you use an auto translation tool, everything you see is changed, like these suggestions here with Conan on number 2, which will not show up in Albania. And it'll be different for every country. So your decisions are influenced as well. Your very identity depends on your location. So if you want to have access to everything, if you want to have freedom to watch and interact how you want with the world, you need a VPN. Now, don't get me wrong. Some things should be restricted, right? And a VPN is not going to be the perfect answer for everything, right? I use Binance.com in the States because I'm there temporarily. I'm a visitor. It's not illegal for me to use Binance.com as a non-American. If I was an American citizen, I shouldn't use Binance.com. Simple as that. So there are reasons for these restrictions. But unfortunately, these restrictions are not set up in a very smart way. They're very clunky. They should adjust properly to your personality, but to your life. But then the only way to do that, they would have to infringe on your privacy. They would have to take a very deep look on what you do, who you are, like too much to really adjust everything properly. And then, your privacy goes out of the window. So the compromise is to kind of have a one-for-all basic solution, and everyone who doesn't fall into this basic one-size-fits-all thing, right? It's kind of a little bit screwed. Now, VPN is an easy answer to that, and it's not hard to do at all. You want to install something like Surfshark? It works as a browser extension. So you can go to the Chrome Web Store. If you use Chrome, different for Safari, for Opera X, for Firefox, but you can even, if you don't remember, you can Google, you can Bing, you can Yahoo, whatever search engine you like, type in Surfshark, install browser, and the name of the browser. In my case, I type in Surfshark Chrome Web Store, and there I can just do like 2 button clicks and it's installed. It's not really any long procedure for that. Now, they're really cheap, and if you want to get a discount, let's see. That's on 23. Let me write that down. 2309. If you want to get a discount, you can use the code JOEYB. Surfshark talked to me. They're like, hey, you wanna show us off? I'm like, yeah, I use a VPN anyways. Before I didn't use Surfshark, I used something else. I used a free VPN, which was annoying to use because often it would just not work. The problem with these free VPNs is that when you use the cheap free stuff, some of them don't work at all. Like even you activate them and it says, oh, okay, now you're in America instead of Tokyo. I still can't access everything because the VPN is poorly made and it doesn't properly work. And the basic check on the other side still notices, okay, no, you're still in Tokyo. I can see that. Your VPN just pretends like it did the proper work. It actually did not, right? So that's kind of the issue. You want to have a easy to set up VPN where you press a button, everything works. you know, and you can use everything quickly. If I have a VPN and I want to watch a show, but the VPN is super slow and everything buffers, it's also a mess. Let's say I want to play a video game, I need good latency, I need speed as well, or even just want to access things without worrying, then there's things like safety, security, privacy, and I want to have a good price, everything ratio. Now, I get it if you want to be completely free, but again, you're going to run into more hassle than it's worth because, let's see, well, what's the current price on Surfshark? Surfshark 1 year subscription. I frankly forgot, but let's check up on that. It's $2.50 a month. I saw it at the bottom. Here are some comparisons, some alerts, malware. Malware protection is a good one in crypto especially. A lot of people get their money stolen because they install a random thingy, especially Chrome extensions. That includes, what's it called again, MetaMask. They install that, and the second they have some money on it, gets stolen. Malware protection is a good one. You want to have that before something happens. It's like condoms, but for your finances, for your safety, for your data. But seriously, you have 100 locations. You know, some have a little bit more, but I mean, how many do you really need? Let's see here. Okay, it shows me the Japanese prices now because I'm in Japan. 300 yen, $2 something-ish per month. I promise you, when you do this stuff with a free VPN and you get stuck, and you will get stuck, you will have an issue, you will have some problem with it, some less convenience, something, some bothering. You'll lose at least some 10 minutes on that. In pretty much every country, it pays for itself immediately, just by using it. Now, if that's still not cheap enough for you, you can use the aforementioned Joey at the checkout, and you get 4 extra months. So 4 months times $2.50, roughly $10 for free, right? So if you want to do the math on that, let's say it's about $2.50 per month times 12. That would be times 10, 25 is $30. So instead of $30, now we do times 8, right? So God, math. 16 and 4, it's 20. So $20 instead of 30. That's a $10 savings. You pay $20 for the entire year. And if you end up not liking it, you can cancel it. But I mean, it's $20 for the whole year, and you can use it on so many things. On the Netflix shows, generally on shows and games, sure, but also work-wise for anything in the crypto space as well, for safety, for malware protection. Antivirus is a big topic as well. Doesn't matter if you're a Windows user, Linux, Microsoft, there's all kinds of vulnerabilities. And especially nowadays, it's a bit of a debate whether you need a antivirus or not, and what you should properly do for setup. A VPN is a good idea. Now, if you're traveling to and from countries especially, but also just in general, if you use a lot of different services in different places, you know, my favorite video games are made in Poland, like Cyberpunk. Some of my crypto stuff doesn't even work if I go to the wrong countries. Some releases of TV shows don't even show up for like another year in Germany. Let alone even if I watch them in English, right? Like it doesn't matter. There's so many applications to this. But that's Surfshark. So let's talk about the next thing on my heart. We had the example with Binance, we had the example with Netflix. Let's talk about TeamZ. TeamZ is a pretty cool event. If you're coming to Tokyo, you should come to TeamZ. Next one's on April 15th. And this is kind of how it looked like. I got the honor to speak for once. At TeamZ, we had so many booths. It was not too uber big, like Token 2049 is. Talk about that in a sec. So it's not that overwhelming. But there's so many cute games, so many souvenirs and takeaway. There's snacks and food. And if you're in Tokyo at the time, it's cheap as hell. I think the ticket's like, let's check how much the ticket is. I forgot for a sec. I think it was like $30. Tickets, where's the price? $12. It's $12. That's even cheaper than the VPN. That thing's also once a year. Just hop over and take a look. Now the VIP pass, that's a good business expense. There's a lot of speakers, a lot of business people there, including VCs and investors and everything, so it can make sense there as well. If you need any support, any recommendations, any advice on that kind of stuff, I'm happy to help out. I know some people at TeamZ. I can help you out with discounts. I can arrange anything if you need a booth. help you out with the media packages, help you set up your stand. We can talk about everything. TeamZ is a really cool event, goes over 2 days, has many side events, and besides the speaking stages and all the many booths, there's all kinds of projects there across. But at the same time, it's not that huge and overwhelming like some of the big events are. And if you're in the area, be it in Singapore, be it in Korea, it's a quick hop over. If you book your flights and your tickets a few months in advance, you can fly to and back, let's say from Singapore to Tokyo and back for about $160. Plus the ticket is $180. And let's say a hotel, a nice one, booked in advance for a couple days, you can get the whole trip for a few $100. The merch, the snacks, the food, all that stuff alone is going to cover that. You already get that back. And not even to mention the experience and also that work-related stuff. Now, if you're into crypto in any capacity, it basically pays for itself. But if you're just interested in blockchain, why not give it a shot for like a smaller event? It's not that overwhelming. With bigger events, you have to plan a bit more. We'll get to that in a second. But for teams, you just go team, like team with a Z at the end, Team Summit, Tokyo, and get that stuff sorted early. Just get it sorted now. Put it in your calendar. No need to really bother about it too much. Just sign up, hey, on the calendar, check for a quick flight, take a hotel. Don't overthink it too much. Send me a message or somebody from Teams for what you're looking for at the event. We'll get it sorted. You can get everything done in some 15 minutes, right? That's kind of how it looks like, and I'll do it again. I love how the photographer captures my most interesting faces. All right. Now, on a matter back on Volanti, we got a promotion going on BingX. We're listing on the 28th. The 28th. That's in 4 days at the recording of the video. I'll probably upload in about a day or two, and then it'll take some time to be public. So probably tomorrow by the time you see this. And we're starting with a trading contest for 10 days after the listing, right? So we have seen a lot of volume, but there's a little bit of randomization. We're going to reward people who participate in the AMA. Somebody's going to win $1,000 there. If you trade a little bit, even just a little bit, we've seen a lot of people trade our token with like 10, 20, 30 bucks. It's not that many whales, but we are going to pick the top 3 traders, not just in the amount they pay, also in generally the trading, kind of the performance. And there's a little bit of luck element as well. So if you're interested in some capacity, check our listing out on BingX. You can see our price on BTSE right now. Let's see where we are there right now. Let me refresh that page. We are still at 30 cents. It's fairly stable. We've had a lot of buy orders lately. We started at 5 cents up to 30, but you're still incredibly early. By the time we deploy our EWA solutions, our MVP is almost released. We have a listing with BingX on the 28th. We have so much stuff coming. End of the year, we're going to be at $100 easily. Now, this is not me telling you to say, buy that token because you're going to make a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. I want you to be part of this early. If you buy $1 worth of the token, it's more than enough. Take part in this experience of getting your salary every day and see how we're changing and how we're performing. This is also me to get you to be part of this process, to see it early, so later I get the privilege of saying I told you. Because unlike some legalized Ponzi scheme, aka meme coin, we have a utility in that we're infrastructure, we're payroll. This is a silent revolution type of thing, where you see it suddenly everywhere, and it comes almost out of nowhere. Like 7-Eleven, just suddenly it's everywhere. You don't know when it happened, but now there's a convenience store around every corner. Suddenly they're there. And I know it's not that exciting on entertainment basis. I don't follow the social media profile of my local grocery store, but I go there every day to buy my food, and I'm excited when I have something in store that I like, when they have a new product, when something's on promotion. Generally speaking, I love my supermarket, but obviously this is not exactly something like a video game, right? So keep Volanti Labs, Volanti Chain, Volanti in general, anything from us, whatever helps you remember in mind, be it through buying $1 worth of the token, joining us on an AMA where you can ask anything, really anything. You can play CoffeeZilla on us. Check us for BS, check us for red flags. We'll be happy to work on that. We got patent partners, we got licensed stuff pending, we got incorporations, names, faces, addresses, everything's there. We're not perfect, but we're third-party audits, everything's is in progress, so we'll get there. And I'd love to see you as part of this promotion or any of our other promotions. We give away some money on the regular in AMAs, sometimes just for being part in our Telegram, airdrop style. But, hop in. We are doing what we can to prevent scalping, to prevent wacky multi-airdrop farming, super account stuff, and generally bots and everything. So there's that, right? We want people to get their salaries on time, to fix this payment issue. This is one of the cases where, sometimes things have to change. Sometimes tradition is better. And this is where tradition is better. Paying people after they've done their work on time, paying people on time is proper and fair, and it's more profitable for both employee and employer. Now, for any business interested in this, we have reports, data, everything to show that, but we can also just offer to provide our service to you. You check it out, you test it for a month, take some employees that have already been working for you for several months, or longer preferably. Some employees where they're not about to be promoted or demoted, their performance is relatively, the same, roughly. So there's no other vertical, no other metric that suddenly changes, except now they get paid every day, right? Like an A/B test. Just make that the only thing that changes for that short period, and then see the result, see the change over after a month. If you can test it for a year with one of your divisions, you'll see they show up to work more on time. They're going to be sick less sick in that year, less sick days. They're going to generally be more productive, and there's going to be a profit from that. Now, there's more angles to that, but I don't want to roll out the whole research report that we published through Business Wire. So even with the PR, we could choose some cheap shot stuff, but Berkshire Hathaway sounded perfect for us. Right? If you do finance, you might as well go with the big guys, proper, as much as we can. Now, let's see. This is the BingX platform. So this is where we're going to be listed on the 28th. Forgot the time, honestly, something JST. I think during the middle of the day, I'll check later. I'll put it in the video description. I failed. So on BingX. In the meantime, if you're interested earlier, we're already in BTSE. Let's see what we have on it's a fairly easy interface. I see it just went down a little bit, almost down to 29 cents. Now is a buy-in time. Get $1 just to keep it in mind, right? And then let's jump back to big events. Token 2049. Oh boy, that is huge. There is one in Dubai very soon, in a few days, end of April. We have to skip that one, sadly. There's just too much to do for us. But Singapore, now that is going to be... I'm not sure if Dubai or Singapore is bigger, but I remember the one I went to last year in Singapore. And Singapore is closer for me in Tokyo. Take your pick. Either way, if you want to go to Dubai, by the time you see this video, it's a bit too last notice to plan. You can also just check for 2026, organize it together with teams. I recommend planning this stuff a year in advance, if you can, or at least a few months in advance. Way better ticket prices. You can comfortably sign up for every side event, generally for everything, and you're just going to get so much better prices on tickets, on flights. You're going to win from promotions more because you can sign up for everything properly and just don't miss out. And at the same time, it's a lot easier to set up as well because rooms, flights, seats, tickets, everything is just going to be more abundant. Now, if you go on the website, asia.token2049.com, you can just see the scale of this. I'm not sure if this is the biggest or if it was consensus, but this is definitely top 3 in size. So many speakers, so many events. This is huge. And here too, not exactly the world. Buying a ticket for Token now, as in super early, we're talking a few hundred. Now, this is arguably one, if not the biggest event. So this one's not as cheap as Teams, right? This is a few $100s, and we're talking in Singapore. But I guarantee you, it's going to be worth it. Now, if that's still too expensive for you, you can type in the code Joey or JoeyB. I forgot which one it is, and you'll get a discount. I think it's 10%, so another 2 VPNs for free. And make yourself a bit more comfortable on Token. As for events, as for what to see, there's going to be many rooms full of booths. I remember the last one in Singapore, I think it was 2 huge rooms, or was that WebX? Lots of side events, so many side events. basically everyone has food and freebies and giveaways. If you're looking for a job in the crypto space as well, this is kind of where you can get hired. Showing up there in person, having even just rudimentary understanding of some of the crypto projects. We need so many people in this space. It is incredibly easy comparatively to get a job in crypto. And I'm not talking about developers. I'm talking about anything there, right? We need all kinds of administrative personnel, all kinds of creative people, and all classic jobs as well for the events, for all the organizing, for all running all these companies. Because face it or not, when you work in crypto, you work on a new frontier. This is, in many aspects, blue ocean, right? It's not that competitive in a way. So then companies, of course, so many investors, everything's at the events. I mean, you already know, I already talked about this from Teams. So let's jump into what we have here. Yeah. 1st to 2nd of October, Marina Bay Sands. Not quite sure what the Nexus was. I think I clicked something. Startup competition. Right. Yeah, if you're a startup like us, this is also something to sign up for. And we're going to sign up for that as well. Let's see if we get picked, eh? But these kind of competitions where you you do your pitch, you show your your company, you can make quite a lot of money. Well, I shouldn't say make money. You can gain funding. And not just funding, you can gain the right partners and support. This kind of stuff is crucial. Because you can send 1 million emails comfortably from your home, but when we talk 6-figure up deals, when we talk important technology, you got to meet people. You just got to go old school. Even phone calls can be better. But I guarantee you, when we talk 7-figure deals, stuff like that, email doesn't cut it that easily, at least not cold outreach. And you only have so much time in a day. So that is token. Now, for WebX, now we're back to Tokyo. If you come into Teams, you might not want to do both. Depends on your schedule. If you're in Korea, Singapore, if you're nearby, you can do both. But otherwise, you might have to choose between WebX and Teams. Because if you're from Europe, that's a lot of trips. But you could also stay for several months. If you're German, if you're anyone from Europe, I feel I would need to have to check the list, but a lot of people get a 90-day on-arrival visa in Japan. All you have to do, I think they're changing their legislation a little bit right now, where you have to do like a little online form thing prior to coming here, but generally speaking, it's very easy. So you'd have April, May, June, July, August, crap. Okay, actually not long enough. So yeah, but you get that at least twice per year, so you can easily hop in and out. Maybe take one of the events in the center. So now you're like, okay, but Joey, I don't know all the events. It's hard to organize. Go on cryptonomads.org. This is what I use as well. You want to check what events is. Okay, let's say we go to Teams in April 2026. And we're like, okay, I'm going to enjoy some time in Japan. Going to work on my laptop, or maybe I go back home, whatever. But let's say I'm in the area, Singapore or something. Let's see what else is in April 2026. Now I can scroll down, right? Right now right now the sheet is for the year, so it only goes to about December. Can't plan that far ahead. But you can use it as a point of reference, because usually the same events in same locations happen around the same times, roughly, right? Let's just do it this way. So let's say Teams is going to be at the same time. I know already, we've seen it on the website, 15th of April. So what do we have on that day in April? So it shows the current one. So end of month, we're going to have some summits, a lot of Dubai stuff. So there's going to be a token in Dubai. So you could hop to Dubai. You could also, let's see, in June, we have some European stuff and middle with Turkey as well. We have some Africa. We have Bangkok again, Asia. Okay, April, interesting. So you could do Teams in Tokyo, stay for about a week, then go to Thailand and do Money 2020, and then go to Crypto Vision Conference in the Philippines, and then you could hop to Dubai, or let's see what else we got. We have some in Europe. So you can really easily plan your trips like this if you really want to hop to many events, or even just 2 or 3. If you're already flying, say, from Europe to Asia, or from America to Asia, like, okay, I want to do like more than one event. You can get like 2 or 3 events in the same month and then fly back home. Make it worth it, right? So I highly recommend using a sheet like this. Only caveat of this, unfortunately, is that mainland China and Russia, for some reason, are not included right now. See, if I type in, say, Portugal, I can see the Portugal events highlighted, right? Or let's take New York, right? Let's take Vienna. Do we have something in Vienna? I think I saw it. There we go. Vienna Sonic Summit. Okay. Moscow, Beijing, Shanghai, not in there right now. So anybody, if you know a sheet like this for mainland China, for Russia, for any countries you don't see here, let me know. I'm still looking myself. Super useful, this kind of stuff. Now back to WebX. Look at the design of the website alone. Honestly, I feel WebX does it a little bit better than Token in terms of website design. But what really matters is what happens on the ground, I suppose. I also love that they do this with the double face, where you can see both, right? It's usually, let's just say, a little bit confusing otherwise. When you don't have a face or anything. Can even apply to be a speaker. So, try a luck. Maybe that works. And then let's see. There's also the Expo in Osaka. Ooh, that could be interesting for me, actually. Let's see. That is, I think I might have missed that one already. Oh, well. Okay. Now, back to Volanti. We're called volantichain.com as far as the website goes. Now, here's a little bit of reason for that. We don't actually have our own blockchain. We just want to get people paid every day. We want to make sure that people get their salaries on a daily basis. That's how it's supposed to be, okay? But unfortunately, this isn't so easy to do depending on the jurisdiction, especially. For example, in Singapore right now, if I remember correctly, we're not allowed to do payouts in crypto. We have to pay you in Singaporean dollars. And to do so, we need some financial licenses for compliance. So we have to do some workarounds to keep it legal, or we have to wait until we have licenses, right? So, it's not all that easy. But why are we called Volanti chain when we don't have a chain ourselves? Well, we're going to use many ways. We have, I used to work for OpenAI. We have somebody from Opera. We have someone from Berkshire. We have all kinds of specialists in tech, in finance, to get that done no matter how. And in some jurisdictions, we might really deploy a chain, maybe just for mainland China, just for Moscow, just for Austria, just for one jurisdiction, complying exactly with their law, and implementing our token how we can, or no token, or maybe just no blockchain at all, and even just do it Web 2, depending on the jurisdiction, right? We're incorporated as Volanti Labs Limited, but we have to differentiate ourselves from the many companies called Volanti. If I go on the internet and I type in Volanti, right? Volanti and nothing else, right? Volanti. Let's see a little marker here for 7.05. Okay, fair enough. Whoopsie doodles. It automatically jumped to my website. Okay, but that's because I'm already going there many times. Let's just type in Volanti and nothing else. Now, what does Google give me? Volanti Technologies, that's not us. Volanti Design, also not us. Definition and meaning, something Japanese, EOV, right? That might be a press release or not, maybe not. Volanti means movement, essentially. And there's just a lot, who knows what happened here, right? There's just a lot of stuff called Volanti. That's why we went with Volanti Labs. But even with Volanti Labs, there's somebody called Volanti Labs. So you can see, that we already decided on the name Volanti. And once it's decided, got to be consistent, right? So we could only add something to it, and we went with Volanti chain, because at least that way it's less confusing. But basically, whether we use our own chain or a different chain, right now the main one we use is Solana, we're going to make sure you get your salary on time, safe, reliable, as minimal payments as possible for the infrastructure. So you get you get 99.999999999% of your money, and it's going to be way more than with the old system, because you're going to get interest. You're not going to suffer from inflation. You're automatically always going to have money every day, whatever banking app you like to use, or if you use our app, it's going to say, ding, money arrived. Every day, every day, every day. And that's how it's supposed to be, assuming you have a job, of course. So, I do want to talk about the Linux of blockchain for a sec. That would be this one, Nervos. By the way, I really like the design of the website. I'm a big fan of minimalism. So Nervos, right? Linux of all the blockchains. That is a cool thing I came across, because when you look at all kinds of systems and what's available out there, you'll notice there's just so many choices. But with Nervos, before you roll your eyes, hear me out. And I'm not trying to dazzle you with buzzwords or something per se, but it's a different kind of blockchain. Not one that promises you the moon and then delivers gas fee or transaction fees. This one's layered. And the base layer is a vault. Secure, decentralized, and impossible to mess with. Above that, they got layers built for speed. They got apps and everything else crypto crowd likes. Everything we try to do to differentiate ourselves from the old systems, right? Web 2 stuff, banks especially. And what makes them different is they play well with others. Bitcoin, Ethereum, the main chains, right? Even the ones that haven't been born yet, because of cross-chain functionality, future-proof and reverse compatibility in capital letters. If you're a builder, this thing's made for you. Now, there's not that many builders in my audience, frankly, I know. I see the analytics, but there's still thousands upon thousands of you mixed in because the channel is pretty big. And I definitely can recommend giving Nervos a shot. Just look at the website alone. It's minimal. This is the kind of functionality stuff you want. This is the kind of stuff where you know it cross works. But, you know, that's Nervos. Everyone behaves like a gentleman. But I have my focus on Volanti. I'm not a builder. I just came across Nervos and I thought that looks really neat. Sounds really neat at first glance. So any of you developers who takes a close look at Nervos, my assumptions, please confirm if what I see is what I think it is. Let me know, and we'll take it from there. Now, for Volanti Labs, what's coming for the rest of the year? Well, we have our listing on BingX on the 28th. Coinbase by the end of the year, but it's not set in stone yet. Some more listings in between. AMAs and promotions and giveaways, including the trading competition. Many AMAs on our Discord, on our Telegram, Binance Live, Spaces. A lot of KOLs are gonna do little giveaways, a couple dollars here and there for resharing our content, basic marketing as well. We're gonna have a card out where you can use our token to directly pay for stuff. At least that's the goal, right? It can take some time to get all the necessary stuff set up and, you know, some financial licenses. Like, please don't press us on that. Like, as in, it's done when it's done. We do it the proper way. How Blizzard used to be. Unfortunately, they're not like that anymore at all, huh? Remember? That was so nice when Blizzard used to just deliver after things are done, and then the remake of Warcraft 3, holy crap. But yeah. Anyways, the card's coming out. I think we get that done by the end of the year. Then we have the MVP coming out in the next quarter. That could be as soon as next month. We got to see how we still have some testing to do. We're going to deploy it probably in Vietnam. We have some good friends there with Phison and other projects. Deploy it to the first couple thousand users. Make sure we get out any issues. Make the user experience as neat and smooth as possible. And then take it from there. And the next market. And we already have a lot of licenses that are done and that are good. And so a lot of stuff is pending. And a lot of stuff takes a lot of revisions, takes a lot of time until it's really issued. So, you know, give us a little bit of patience, but we're going to come to your market and we're going to make sure you get your salary every day. Now, don't get me wrong. If there is an alternative for you, if your company can offer EWA, you know, talk to your boss if you're an employee. Many can just pay you per day already, especially if it's a smaller business, or by using what they use already. Some payroll companies do offer EWA. It's just up to you to be like, hey, daily, please. Payees being one, but the problem with the biggest problem with a lot of these EWA companies is, frankly, they're too niche. They only work for specific companies in specific jurisdictions, or they're very slow and you don't get your money every day. You get it like twice per month instead of once. It's not much better. Or there's fees involved, at which point you're like, okay, you know, if I have to give up 10% of my salary at that point, I might as well wait. Right? There's all kinds of compromises that kind of ruin the whole idea, the whole concept. And quite frankly, it's not even, I shouldn't even call it a concept or idea. It's supposed to be the fair norm. You're supposed to get paid on time, just like how you would pay for a service right away. You don't get in a taxi, drive across the whole town and tell them, I'll send you a check at the end of the month. you pay the gentleman right then and there. Everything else is just thievery, or I guess thievery that unthieves itself a month later, but then it kind of doesn't because interest, inflation, and like, nonsense. So anyways, what else is coming for Volanti? Well, events, a lot of events. We just spoke at TeamZ. We're going to speak at other events. And we're also going to announce a lot of partnerships. We already announced one with AI Craft. And we're going to announce a lot more in the next months. But frankly, that's roughly the overview. So if you have any questions, you want to reach out, you want to hit us up. As for investors or anyone who's interested in investing in us, in our project, if you want to see our partner patents, if you want to see our software, if you want to meet the team, if there's any unvoiced concerns of yours that you would like us to address, any red flags, more than happy to address that as well. If you are an audit company, we're probably going to need a lot of third-party audits as time goes on because so many jurisdictions. We're going to have to assemble more law ventures because you just need so many lawyers. It's like got to catch them all for every jurisdiction. But that's why we go market for market. But the idea is to go globally eventually. And we're kind of shooting big here, but that's why we got everything set up with patent partners like Korea, Japan, Singapore. We go big, we go proper, and we do it by the book. And if you're a big YouTuber like, say, CoffeeZilla, please do check us on our BS, and I'll be happy to answer if you work on everything. Yeah. What else we got? I think we're covered. Yeah, I'll put everything in the description. Again, highly recommend checking out some events and planning stuff, whether you're in crypto or just interested in it. And yeah, I hope I see you there. If you run into me at any of the events, holla at me and see you there.
If you want to join our mission, make sure to sign up now and be among the first to take advantage.